What is up, you guys? It's Joy here, and in today's video we're going to be making a toilet paper cake. I know it's a trying time for the entire world and nobody has toilet paper in stock, but no need to worry because you can make some out of cake, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. So without further ado, let's cut to the cake. So I'm starting off with 3 5-inch funfetti cake layers, and I'm just soaking it in some simple syrup just to keep the cake nice and moist. You always want to use simple syrup with your cakes, especially if it's butter-based, just to keep it moist. Next, we're going to stack and fill our cakes, and I prepared some delicious chocolate buttercream. Such a great combination. It's a classic. You can't go wrong with this combination. And we're going to stack the first 2 layers. But for the very top layer, we're actually going to poke a hole in it. Not just any hole, a toilet paper hole. So I'm going to take this tip. I use it for icing usually, but today I'm going to use it to create our toilet paper cake. So we're just going to poke it right in the center, make sure it's centered, and then go ahead and dig that cake out and have it for a snack later. Now we are going to ice our cake, and make sure you get the icing in that hole we created. Just make sure the cake is evenly covered in your frosting and make sure it's smooth as possible. I alternated between a small offset spatula and a larger one, and I also used a bench scraper or a icing smoother, as some call it, to get the outer edge as smooth as I possibly can before we move on to the fondant. So now we're getting ready to cover our cake in fondant. We're just going to take some white fondant and we're going to place it on top of our cake. Then we're going to take a nice sharp X-Acto knife and just trim away the edges of the fondant. So after we trim away the edges of our fondant, we're going to make sure we cut a hole into the hole that we created and just smooth around that as well. So now we're going to take our small rolling pin and roll out the fondant for the side of our toilet paper cake. And I'm actually measuring the height of my cake and I'm measuring the height of the fondant just to make sure it's even. And then we're going to trim the edges off, making sure we're still keeping that height, but we want our edges nice and straight and smooth. We don't want them lumpy and bumpy. Next, I'm going to take my Wilton burlap fondant roller, and that's going to give our toilet paper the texture that we're looking for. If you have any other impression mats that you'd like to use for this part, please feel free to do that. We know that toilet paper is very versatile. It comes in a lot of different designs. So now I'm giving the fondant another final cleanup around the edges, just to make sure it's nice and straight after we rolled that burlap on it. Then I'm going to make sure it has a nice little thin coat of powdered sugar and roll it on my rolling pin before transferring it to the sides of our beautiful toilet paper cake. So now I'm trimming off the excess fondant, but I want to leave a little bit of it hanging off the sides like real toilet paper. So now I'm just smoothing the cake out, and I'm also going to take my X-Acto knife. I'm going to take the back of it and I'm going to go around on the top of the cake in a circular motion just to give it that nice realistic toilet paper feel. So for the seam at the top of the cake where the 2 fondants meet, all you have to do is just take some water and a paintbrush and use your fingers to kind of blend it together very gently. You don't want to alter the shape of the top of the cake, just gently bring them together. If you have to use a fondant smoother, that's totally fine. Just don't ruin your outer pattern. Now we're going to take our stitching tool and we're going to create stitches in the sides of our cake to mimic the sheets of toilet paper. And I'm also taking a dry paintbrush and I'm brushing off any excess powdered sugar or anything that may be on our cake. So now we're going to work on the inside of our toilet paper roll cake, and I just took some brown fondant and I put a little circle on the bottom of the hole we created, and now I'm taking some more brown fondant, just cutting off the edges, making sure everything's nice and straight, and then we're going to roll that up and stick it on in there as well. And I put some water on the fondant just to ensure that it sticks, and then we're going to smooth it out. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our toilet paper roll cake. Look at it, it's beautiful. Now we have to cut it. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe for more amazing cakes, and share with your friends and family. If you make this cake at home, be sure to tag me at Joy Filled Delights. Y'all have a great day. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Stay at home. Make a cake. It can be fun.